Hey, fourth grade, this is Miss Bates, and I am talking to you today about your week 5, day 6 pack of work from home math. So, we are looking at the using strategies to subtract. It is on page 10 of your work from home packet for weeks 4 through 7. So, like I said, we're going to be talking today about using strategies to subtract. In the work from home resources that have been put on Class Dojo and on the school's Facebook page for fourth grade, there is actually a link underneath this video that you're watching in the Monday block for this week that is a link to an anchor chart that will help you figure out or review some of those strategies that we have used to subtract. So the ones that we're going to actually look at today that are also on that anchor chart that I've linked are place value, adding up, equivalents, and chunks. So for number 1 on your paper, it says 4,003 minus 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the place value method to show you this. Now, some of you might choose another way to show this, and that's fine. I know that we all have strategies that work better for us. So remember, when you're looking at strategies, you're trying to figure out which one works best for you. So for place value, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate these two numbers. So the first one that I'm going to have to look at is I'm going to have to look at 4,003. So I'm going to write over here. So I'm actually going to change my color. So 4,003, if I'm breaking it apart, I'm going to have 4,000. I have no hundreds, no tens, but I have 1, 3. So I have 3 ones. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to look at this number that I'm subtracting. So if I look at the number 3, I know that I don't have any thousands, so I'm just going to put minus 0. I don't have any hundreds in the number 3, so I'm going to put minus 0. I also don't have any tens, so I'm putting minus 0. And then I have 3 in my ones, so I'm going to put subtract 3. So whenever I figure out the answer to all of these, I'm going to have to add it all up to figure out what the number or what the answer is for my problem. So I'm going to go ahead and start at the top. 4,000 minus 0 is 4,000. I didn't take anything away from it, so it doesn't change the number. 0 hundreds minus 0 hundreds is 0. 0 tens minus 0 tens was 0. And 3 minus 3 is also 0. So when I'm adding all of these numbers up together, my answer for 4,000 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 would be 4,000. Now, a lot of you are going to probably say that the standard algorithm is the easiest for you, and that's fine. But just to check our work, we're going to use that. So 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. And 4 minus 0 is 0. So we know we have the correct answer. For number 2, what we're going to do is we're actually going to be looking at another method. And I did not mean to erase the answer for that, so I will write it back up there. For number 2, the method that we're going to actually be looking at is adding up. So for number 2, what we're actually going to do is we're going to add a number to both of these numbers in our problem to make it easier for us to subtract. So what I do first to try to figure out which one is going to be easiest for me to add to is I try to find a friendly number for these two. Now, what my brain goes to first is that number with all of those nines in it on the very bottom. So 1,999 is only 1 away from 2,000. Now, I just solved my problem, but to show you the work, what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this number, 1,999, and I'm going to add 1 to it, and I get the number 2,000. 2,000. Now, because I added it to the bottom, I have to add it to the top. So when I add 2,000 plus 1, I get 2,001. 2001. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract. So to subtract 2001 with 2,000, now I use my standard algorithm. 1 minus 0 is 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is also 0. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So I actually don't need this comma because my answer is 1. All right, and for number 3, we are going to use the method of equivalence. So when we're looking at equivalence, we try to come up with the number that a number kind of like adding up that we can use, but it might not be that we add to it. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to subtract. So if you can think of a number that might be easier to subtract than 7, a number that might come to your head is 5. We do a lot of work with 5, so with multiplication, addition, subtraction. So it's a little bit easier to think about subtracting in our heads than 7 might be. So what I'm going to do to make these both multiples of 5, what I'm going to do for 3,007, 3,007 is to find a number that would be close to a multiple of 5, I'm going to figure out how many would I have to take away from 7 to get to 5. So to take away from 7, I would take away 2 to get to the number 5. So I'm going to take away 2. And then my answer would be 3,005. So now, since I subtracted the top, I have to subtract the bottom. So I would do 7 minus 2, which we just kind of did over here with this 3,000. 7 minus 2 would be 5. All right, so now when I take 3,005 minus 5, now I'll do my standard algorithm. 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 minus 0, remember that place value holder is 0, is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0, and 3 minus 0 is 3. All right, so my answer for number 3 would be 3,000. All right, now we're going to look at this number, and I'm going to put a little number 4 right here so you know which one I'm talking about. So 4,003 minus 13. For number 4, we're going to use the chunks method. So the first thing that I want to do for this method is I want to break the bottom number apart. So 13 could be broken into several different parts, but what I'm going to break it into is I'm going to break it into 3 and 10. Now, 4,003, would it be easier for me to take 3 away first or 10 away first? I would start with 3 because if you'll look over here, 4,003 minus 3, I don't have to do as much borrowing as I would if I used 10 first. So 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is also 0. And 4 minus 0 is 4. So I have 4,000, but I can't forget that I have to do something with this 10. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take 10 away from 4,000. So we can use the standard algorithm and borrow, which is what I'm going to show you. And I'm actually going to erase this underneath so we have a little bit more room. But 4,000 minus 10. So let's try it. When I'm borrowing, remember you have to borrow from the left. So we are always going to start at the right. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 1 I can't do because 0 is not bigger than 1. So I'll have to go next door to see if I can borrow some. Next door doesn't have any either, so then I'll have to go to the next door. So I'm going to change this to a 3 because I'm borrowing 1. This then gets changed to a 10, but I still need to take some over here. So I'm going to take one away from this 10 and then send that extra one over there. So 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 0 is 9. And 3 minus 0 is 3. All right, so my answer for number 4 would be 3,990. All right, so for the next couple of problems, you're going to try one of those strategies, see which one works best for you. Some of you, like I said earlier, you're going to say that the standard algorithm works best, and that's fine. Number 4, what it says to do is, what strategy did you use to find the differences for problem 2? And then explain. So for problem 2, we actually used the adding up strategy. If you want to go back and try another strategy and explain how you did that, then that is totally fine, and that's totally up to you. Number 5, how could you check your answer to one of the problems using another strategy? We talked about that, but like I said, if another strategy works best for you to check your answers, then this is where you would explain that. All right, I hope y'all have a great day, and you'll hear from me tomorrow.